Hey friends, it's me, Professor P. Hey, today's Bible story comes to us from Matthew chapter 7. And I don't have my Bible again. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Matthew chapter 7, beginning in verse 24, says this. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, yet it did not fall, because it had its foundations on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great crash. So what this verse is saying is when the wise man or when the foolish, when they build and the winds and the because you know, like the wind and the crashing and Why? Come on, you could do this. Come on, Professor P. Why? Oh man, I can't think of this. Pudding pops. How do I tell the story? Who could I get to tell the story? I wish I had a master builder. I got it.
We'll return to 5 minutes with Professor P after a word from our sponsors.
5 minutes or less is brought to you today by peanut butter. Peanut butter, good for spreading and eating. Peanut butter, have some today. Hey LegoJman, can you help me illustrate the story of the wise and foolish builders?
Of course I can.
So the story goes, there was two kinds of builders, right? So there was the wise builder. He built his house on the rock and the house didn't fall. But there was the foolish builder. He built his house on the sand and the house fell quickly. So what does it look like for us to build our house on the sand, Jaden? What does that look like? Well, what is it like to build your house on the rock?
It's not breaking.
So as you can see from my illustration, you don't want to be a person that builds your house on the sand, right? Mm-mm. You want to be the person to build your house on the rock. That way, when the storms come, you won't fall. Here's the verse again. It says this: everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice will be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. So here's the thing. God asks us to do things. He gives us directions. And what do we need to do? We need to follow him. That's called obedience. That means when the storms come and we're obeying him, we're following him. That's when troubles come, when anxiety comes, when worry comes, all those things. We built our house on the rock and we're going to stand. We don't want to fall by building our house on the sand. Well, that's today's lesson, guys. Here's Professor P signing off. We'll see you guys all tomorrow. Man, you're really tall.